Now back to the Warriors off-season summit from Fremont Bank on 95.7 The Game.
Back at the Warriors Summit, Fremont Bank.
Yeah, let's go, Dibs. Let's go, Dibs. Try this bus, Dibs. Don't be scared to try this bus. There you go. Come on, Dibs. Don't be scared to try the bus.
I'm here at the Summit, and boy, there's a lot of people here.
Hey, thank you all for being here. Give yourselves a round of applause. And then, give yourself a round of applause. And Dibs, I keep looking at that bag right there. Keep thinking it's Popeye's chicken, man. I don't know why. Look at it. Maybe I'm getting hungry. That's sad.
No doubt.
Soda diet.
That's sad.
Still time to get down here if you
Prospect chicken for you,
Bonta. 39150 Fremont Boulevard, the beautiful Fremont Bank. We're on the rooftop deck on a beautiful day, talking Warrior basketball, talking to Warrior fans, and we appreciate you being with us here in person and over the air and on YouTube and Twitch and all the places you are. The Warriors Summit, all three shows, Bonta and Joe in the morning, Steiny and Goo, Willard and Dibs, all here with you for another hour until 6 o'clock. Hey, we haven't gone through the moves that they did make, let alone the ones that they haven't made yet. So let's get a comment on this. Kyle Anderson, DeAnthony Melton, Buddy Hield. Look, there's a chance that this is the Warriors off-season. Roast, what do you think?
I mean, I brought this up this morning. I did the numbers. I crunched them. And it's going to be – look, it's very difficult to project what these guys did on separate teams last year and carry it over to the Warriors.
Sure.
It's difficult to project what a Moses Moody might do if he's on the team and he gets increased playing time, or Pajemski or Kuminga, and all their usage goes up. But if you just look at the raw numbers of what they acquired more field goals made. They acquired more assists. They acquired more rebounds. Now, I didn't punch in some of the Chris Paul numbers because I just assumed they lost him for nothing. I'm going just with the Klay Thompson stuff. Where they come up short is three-point shooting. They're about 53 points, three-pointers made, short of eclipsing his production. It's an unquantifiable number to see what the offense looks like, because we all know the gravity that Klay brings. You got to guard him on the perimeter. And what does the offense look like for these other guys? On the aggregate, it's got a money ball feel. Like they think on paper they can patchwork it. We will see.
Farhan Zaidi will be proud of those statements right there.
Yeah.
This game is not played on the freaking computer, guys, all right? You can't, like the replacement, okay, look at the raw data or whatnot. Guys are going to be in different roles. How many minutes is Buddy playing? How many minutes is Colin? Like, all of a sudden I saw over the weekend on social media, man, Buddy Hield, the next Splash brother. Do we forget what Buddy Hield was in Sacramento? And do we forget that he's never really played in the offense in the system like this, where he's going to have to move without the basketball, going to have to play some defense, slow-mo offensively?
I like slow-mo.
Out of all the moves, I like Anthony
slow-mo.
Melton the most. I thought Memphis underutilized Anthony Melton. Now, if he's healthy, that's a guard where you get somebody who could defend at the point of attack, but the moves are okay. They need something else, though. Yeah. If this is their roster in the Western Conference, Dallas going to fear this team?
No.
Denver going to fear this team? Minnesota going to fear this team?
OKC.
The Clippers, the Lakers. Who's going to fear this team? On paper, like, it sounds good, but it looks like Steph at the tail end of the season, where Steph, the first 24 games, he played in 21 of them post-All-Star break, averaged 22 points a game, which is good, right? That's not Steph-like. And Steph usually has a VIP room at the 50, 40, 90 club. Or at the 24 games post-All-Star break, he shot 41% from the floor and 36% from three. With this current iteration on the roster, where's the spacing going to be? That was with Klay Thompson. Now you take away Klay Thompson, and the spacing gets cramped, it gets tighter. It's going to be some long nights for Steph if you come into the season with this roster right now.
Yeah, Joe, what's up?
Well, what is going on with Wiggins? I think we're all like, we're talking about Kuminga. I'm pulling a Steiny. We're talking about Klay. Wiggins, he had the worst year of his career going back to his rookie year.
Well, this is
and for some reason we hyper-focused on Klay Thompson this season. And Wiggins went out there and sweat walk to like 30% from three. Now we're focused on Wiggins.
Well, this is actually
you say with such surprise. Yeah. Like, this is the player that he's been, other than a 2-month stretch.
He was worse this year by every statistical category. I'm talking 20% lower in everything.
His level of interest in being a basketball player, it goes down each and every week.
But he always scored 17, 18, 19, 20 points. Like, this is a guy who's down to like 12 this year.
Right. right?
12.
Yep.
He wasn't closing games. He's just up there just getting a free run in at the Y. I mean, you can't ask him where he is, because we can't ask him for personal reasons.
It was personal.
Okay.
Well, let me take a crack at it, Joe. Let me take a crack at it.
You can ask. He just probably
Jordan
won't
Poole
answer.
was his close friend. He watched Draymond just deck his friend,
Okay.
gets him out of town. The job doesn't suspend Draymond at all. Then you get your bag, and I'm sure if we know now what we didn't know then, Draymond and Clay were feeling some type of way about him getting his bag. Maybe he might not be the fondest of his teammates, and that noise coming from number 23. I'm not defending Wiggins because I've been waiting
So then
on
what
him.
are you doing?
But I'm wondering if maybe that toxicity that's what's going on with the locker room might have something to do with it.
I mean, listen.
When you ask what's going on,
you're making
maybe that's it.
But Goo,
Pretend like you care.
Goo, let me go out on a wild limb here. Like, have you ever gotten into a hot argument with anybody at work?
Never.
Every day.
And is it still incumbent upon you to get your butt here and do your thing?
All day long.
Okay, so that I have no idea if what you're bringing up affected Andrew Wiggins.
We're all guessing.
But if it did, you can't let it do that.
Right.
You can't let it take 6 points a game off your game.
And we had Kirk Lacob in front of us last week, and I'll say this to you all: are they failing Andrew Wiggins? Is Andrew Wiggins failing the Warriors? Which right now he is. But damn it, find out what's going on, so Shasky and the rest of us don't have to ask, why is this marvelous ball player when he's on?
They know.
Why is he missing?
They know. They know.
Well, they got a problem.
Yeah.
The problem is,
They sure do.
the problem is he's got 3 more years on the deal. That's
He's coming around.
the problem is the contract and the fact that nobody wants him. He was being aggressively shopped this past couple of weeks, you couldn't even get somebody to give you 5 second-round picks for him. I would imagine.
That player option,
was the
baby.
Wiseman deal.
Player
Exactly.
option.
So you could trade Wiseman, but you can't trade Andrew Wiggins. It's just... It's really disappointing, but it's not shocking.
They got I don't even know how to put it. Like whatever Marco Scudero did for the Giants or Cody Ross, they got a 2-month Michael Jordan version of Wiggins. He was the second best player.
He was good that season.
Okay, maybe not much. But you got but the final 2 months he was spectacular.
Incredible in the finals.
He was, and all of a sudden he turned back into a pumpkin.
Well, I thought he got up to a great start last season, though.
Who wants to put a rat on the table?
Let's do it. Brought to you by Atco.
Brought to you by Atco Pest Control.
He's been waiting. Look how happy.
We still have, people say, oh, Steiny, you don't have the pulse of the fans. Well, you tell me this. We are, as I'm a Warrior fan, we're still tiny as a team, and we're not athletic enough. Yes or no, everybody? We've got to get bigger. I thought I'd get more.
You know who's tall is Laurie Martin.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, but he doesn't play tall.
And Quentin Post.
But he doesn't play tall, though. He doesn't play big. He doesn't play big at all. Marketing plays as a guard.
That was the
You guys don't watch. I know. I mean, come on, man. Stop bringing up marketing.
What do you guys?
Jesus Christ.
It's not going to.
What's a basketball?
There's a massive.
Marketing is just the guy. I don't want to do this. We did this with Bradley Beal for 3 damn years. And you go see Bradley Beal in Phoenix. What does everybody in Phoenix
give
say?
us a solution then. Give us a solution.
It ain't Laurie marketing. There ain't no solutions out there.
Do you believe the offer is on the table or not?
Ooh, what, the Warriors?
Yeah,
absolutely. They're big name
hunting. You can get mad at it. The Warrior
big name hunting.
On the table.
For marketing.
It's on the table.
Marketing.
Yeah, but it's not enough. You know who you're dealing with? You're dealing with Danny Ainge.
Oh, we don't know that.
And he knows there's going to be other teams that send it to the mix.
We don't know that.
Thank you.
We don't know. Haven't we seen Danny Ainge in Boston all these years hoarding picks and not trading guys?
Yeah, picks. Is anybody here worried about picks?
No, I think so. You better be.
Nobody's worried about picks.
You better be. You're not worried about picks. Worried about picks.
When you trade Steph, you'll get them all back.
You sure about that?
What do you guys think of the moves that have been made?
I like them, actually, because they've bettered their financial situation.
Oh, that's sexy.
They haven't done anything to wreck something at 2026 or beyond. And I absolutely think these 3 players could be a better fit next season than Clay was last year.
What about CP3?
You know what? I don't know how to measure that.
I asked you that today.
I don't know.
Can
I don't know.
fill that role as the guy who facilitates for that second unit? Because he
I don't know.
part of the youngsters being good, I believe, was Chris Paul had a great influence with those guys, and I thought his pacing was really good. I don't love Pods in the starting lineup. I like him as a backup.
I don't think he will
Who's going to score with the second unit? I mean, if you look at any of these guys,
with the first unit?
Buddy Hield.
Right.
The new Clay.
Well, you said that.
He's better than Clay right now.
No, please stop. Don't do that,
thank
Steiny.
you.
Don't do that, Steiny. Don't do that.
What do you think of the moves that have been made?
Honestly, and I'm stealing this from Steiny, those are moves around the edges. I like all three players. I'm okay. But it's like I'm using a car analogy. Steph is the engine. You need a transmission. They're not that. So those are nice moves, but you need something big. I need a transmission.
I have the same questions.
Don't worry for a second, dude. What's going on over there?
It's a family-friendly show.
All I can do is laugh. All I can do is laugh.
Pause.
All I can do is laugh. I don't know. I got 3 kids. I don't know.
I have the same questions. I have the same questions that they had last year. And one of the reasons, and I know there's no way for the Warriors to know.
We'll edit that out in post.
We're kind of down some stats. I'm not sure that's going to get done.
There's no way for the Warriors to know if a deal is truly going to get done or not, but it feels like their acquisitions sort of created another log jam similar to what they had last year. If I'm Steve Kerr and I've taken the criticism about the rotations that I took last year and I'm looking at this roster right now, I'm trying to figure out how exactly am I rotating this. From Pods to Wiggins to Kuminga to Slow-Mo to Melton.
It's a logjam.
How are we figuring that out? That's I like it in a vacuum, each one individually, I get it. As a group, Buddy Hield, how are we figuring out?
And like Steiny said, Willard, we're small.
Yeah, how are we figuring out minutes and the pecking order with this group? Well, that doesn't add up to me.
You got 12 guys and you only want to play 10 at the most, and really, ideally you want to play 9, and we talk about, like, the Steph-less minutes. What are you going to do now when Steph sits out for those 16 minutes? Who's going to score the basketball on this team? The answer, that to me is scary.
So the team they have now, are you starting, if they don't make a move, are you starting Trace Jackson alongside Draymond? Because clearly they like that.
Here we go again, another year, right? It may be a start. But here's the deal, and we all missed the mark last summit, because I remember Mark Willard pounded the table for Chris Paul. Oh, he's going to start. He's going to be unhappy. And we all found out with CP3 and Klay Thompson, it wasn't so much about coming off the bench. It was about finishing the game in the last 5 minutes. And Klay wasn't finishing, and he threw a fit in Brooklyn, and that was the start of it. Chris Paul, what did he say? Steve told me that the finishing lineup was going to look different, and he make some mistakes. So who's going to be your final 5 in the last 5 minutes of a basketball game on this team? That's what I don't know.
Steph.
I don't care about starters. Who's going to finish the last 5 minutes of a half? In the fourth quarter, which the Warriors blew a lot of leads last year in those situations.
A lot of leads, yep.
One of the things I think is that we tend to look at it as it's free agency, and so they're either going to get something done or not get something done. I think Mike Dunleavy and the organization looks at it as though there's no deadline here. They can roll with what they have, keep fishing on marketing if that's what you want. Ainge is going to ask for too much. They're not going to want to give enough. It gets to August. It's September. You go to training camp. You see what you got.
But Steiny,
there's no deadline.
No, if he gets an extension, there is a deadline.
Oh, yeah, well, for sure.
You can't trade him if he. What was the date?
For 6 months.
August 6th.
Yes.
But if he signs August 6th, he could be traded the day of the NBA trade deadline.
Which is February
If he gets paid
6th.
August 7th or later,
well, you know what?
He's going to be in Utah for a year.
You know what? I'll bet you he gets signed by then.
August 5th or 6th?
That makes sense for Utah.
Exactly.
So that they would be able to trade him at the deadline. Yep. That's the one thing I think the Warriors right now could look at their team and say, you know what? We could be better. We could be. So let's go play 2 months.
Yep.
What if we're 22-14? We keep rolling. If we're 14-22, we might have to go this direction. If we're 22-14, we can stay the course. But what's the difference really between a move now and a move at the deadline?
Well, 18-2 was the start you had the year you won the championship last. And so I would say that building up a 16-game cushion changed everything for that team for that year.
Right.
No?
I would agree.
But in today's NBA, it's starting to have a March Madness feel to it. Where seeds, sure, you want a top seed, you want a home court advantage, but we're seeing a lot of teams come in from the play-in or a 5-6 seed, advance deep into the playoffs. So can you be a 16-game team in the postseason? So to Steiny's point, floating around 500, if you're a 10 seed, 9 seed, maybe you're an 8 seed, and you can strike like the Mavericks did last season. Nobody thought the Mavericks were a finals team. But they made some subtle moves, and I get it. They had Luka Doncic in his prime. You still have Steph Curry, who's still a high-level player. Maybe you swing a move then at the deadline to Steiny's point, and you can add something to make a run in the playoffs.
Okay, what are you doing with Jonathan Kuminga in the meantime? Are you just playing that out to the end?
I think you play it out.
I think you sign him like you did with Jordan Poole.
All of you that were so supportive of Jonathan Kuminga, ride or die, are you giving him $200 million before the season starts? Yes or no?
You play it out.
That's a lot of no's.
You play it out.
Okay. Well,
but I don't have a strong preference about doing something with Kuminga or not doing something. To me, this is where the team will dictate to us what they're thinking, because 2 years ago, they gave Wiggins an extension and Poole an extension. He was in the same spot that Kuminga's in now. Last year, they thought they were a title team. They gave Draymond an extension. This year, they think they're in a different spot. So if they really think they're in a different spot, they will not pay Kuminga $180 million. They still have his rights. They can still match any salary next offseason. So that, to me, is good. The Kuminga decision is going to be the one, to me, that tells me kind of a direction they're going in. Because if things truly have changed, and Clay is the first guy to fall, well, then they will not sign Kuminga to an extension this offseason.
Well, if they sign him to an extension this offseason and he goes out and plays great, they might actually save themselves a bunch of money, depending on what he might get next year. Or they could do what they did with Jordan Poole. Sign him this October, have him play the year, and if you get to that spot where things aren't working out with the team, you can trade him like you did Jordan Poole, and then that contract slot has value coming back.
And 2 years later, what does it look like?
A disaster.
Like 2 years after they did that?
Well, I'm just saying,
you got nothing for him.
Well, I'm just saying, Poole looks like they got nothing for him
and
2 years later.
And you gave up a first-round
Yes,
pick.
you did.
Like Levine, they're stapling picks to, and they can't even get rid of the guy.
Exactly.
So it's easier said than done. I think the old CBA, you could trade those contracts. I don't know.
What are you?
Well, if you don't sign
who's paying Kuminga?
I'm not paying Kuminga right now. I got to see what's going on with marketing. I'm using this because I don't personally want, but it feels like the Warriors will love marketing in their system. I'm waiting. I would wait. You have financial flexibility for the first time in years. You're out of the tax. You can wait on this move here. And if you want to sign a trade next season, then go ahead and do that with Kuminga.
I wonder how that affects the self-confidence of Jonathan Kuminga, who has already shown himself to be fairly fragile. So he gets to that spot, and he doesn't get the bag like Jordan got the bag, and now you're going to expect him to go out there. And,
I do. I think he relishes this. You know why? I think he relishes this because
so this guy has to do his job, but not Wiggins.
He went to the media 3 times, right, in his short career. And he did it last year. And then he went out there and averaged 20 a game for the next 37 before getting hurt. And he put his money where his mouth was. I think Kuminga's different in that sense where he's like, yeah, sure, you don't want to pay me? Let me go out there and prove it. Give me the minutes. I'm going to show you that it could be productive, and I'll showcase myself to the league if you don't want me.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I don't see happening is they don't pay Kuminga. They want to bring him back for another year, but they don't play him. Like, he's going to play a lot, and he might be upset that he didn't get the bag, but he will get playing time next year.
He got 30 minutes after going to the meeting.